Consistency comes achievement. Could you believe it? Well, I believe it. I believe it.
Coming up on Real Talk.
You're growing up, and you're constantly told to shut up. Shut your mouth. She slapped the mess out you. Shut your mouth. Don't say nothing.
It brings on a numbing feeling, as a child, and it puts you in the field of my opinion. It puts you in the field of should you ever say something.
Now, that's what I'm talking about. When you're not allowed to talk back or say anything back or have any type of input on anything, when you get to a job and you're expected to be a go-getter, would you think you would be a go-getter in that situation? And you've been raised up, somebody telling you what to do all the time, telling you to shut up, telling you stupid. Do you think you would be a go-getter on your job?
Now we not here. With consistency comes achievement. Could you believe it? Well, I believe it. I believe it.
Welcome to our show, Real Talk. I'm your host, Amina. With me today is Robert Johnson. Owita couldn't make it. She had a funeral. Our condolences, Owita. Welcome, Robert.
Welcome.
Our topic today is what type of effect does our words and actions have on our children's behavior? We constantly say things to our children every day like, shut up, you talk too much, you're stupid, you're so stupid. We slam doors when we're angry, and we wonder why our children do the same thing. What are we teaching them? I believe that we need to be careful with our words and actions that we do, that we have around our children. Because I believe the way you treat me is what you teach me. So with that being said, what type of effect, Robert, do you think that telling a child to shut up has on that child's behavior as he develops through his years?
Well, my personal opinion, it'll have several different effects on a child, and I would actually say it all depends on how that child is, and that personally to me wouldn't be something that you would actually want to raise your child being taught, because due to the fact that you want this child to represent yourself and the family, so therefore it wouldn't be it wouldn't be challenged. It'd be too much of a challenge for him to be raised being told to shut up.
What type of effect were you ever told shut up as growing up?
Well, yes, I was. I think my mother basically did it out of anger, but still, there's no excuses for it.
Basically, what type of effect did that have on you? She told you to shut up. You're growing up, and you're constantly told to shut up. Shut your mouth. She slapped the mess out you. Shut your mouth. Don't say nothing.
It brings on a numbing feeling, as a child, and it puts you in the field of my opinion. It puts you in the field of should you ever say something.
Now, that's what I'm talking about. Should you ever say anything? So now you in a situation, you're an adult now, and this woman looked just like your mama, and she told you to shut up. What type of effect did that have on you? Did that send you back the way you came from? Do you feel like you want to say something? What type, you know what I'm trying to say here?
Well, now that I'm an adult, I mean, it would bring back some slightness to the effects of thinking about my past. But as being an adult and trying to set and better an example, than it was at the household setting, I think I would handle the situation a lot different.
So are you saying that your experience from your environment that you grew up in, that shut up, you're stupid, you don't know what you talking about, when you get into situations either in relationships or just in a work environment or just the everyday environment, when you run into certain things that trigger that same type of feeling that you had when you was told to shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. How does, my thing is, what I'm trying to show here is that the way you treat me is what you teach me. If you were told to constantly shut up, you don't know whether you should talk when you run into that trigger, or do you? Does it affect you? Does it affect you as an adult? I'm pretty sure as a 3-year-old, you don't know the difference between day and night, so you know that would have a great effect on a 3-year-old. But as an adult, all of that madness that your environment that you grew up in, what type of effect? To shut up. You're stupid.
Well,
Maybe those wasn't the words that your mom used, but that's just an example.
actually, those are numbing words. You know, to my experience, it's not. Those words wouldn't be used in a healthy environment for, or should I say, a healthy household, because those are numbing words, and you know, you would be basically confusing the child, you know, and you would, I mean, you practice what you're taught, you know, and if that's used in the household, then actually the child would go out, or he or she, and you know, she'll be mimicking what she's heard or what he's heard, you know, in his household, and it wouldn't be conducive to the family or for the public.
Not so much for the public, but for the individual. I'm referring here to it as an individual as you grow into your full development, and you've been in an environment that was constantly telling you that you stupid, and now you at work trying to figure out this problem, but you've been constantly told that you're stupid. What type of effect is that having on you at that moment?
It would have a major downside on the effect, you know, as a child or even as an adult, you know, because you have some relationships between husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend where, you know, you have the more dominant sex in that relationship, and it's the same thing. It's more so in an adult relationship where you have the husband or the wife using those negative words, you know, amongst each other, you know, and the child the child don't actually have to be told those certain words, but it could see those heated arguments between mother and father, or husband and wife, you know, and you know, so it would also be a mimic to that child, you know, to display those actions.
Yeah, the actions and the behavior, the actions and the words
Right.
has a great effect on the child.
Right.
The fact that you're saying you're stupid, the fact that you're saying shut up, the fact that you're saying you don't know nothing.
And not only that, it also, I mean, as we use the word teach. See, you're teaching that child or the individual, you know, the negativity. So therefore, you know, in order for that child or the individual to know something different, they have to be learned another way, which is a positive way, which, you know, it'll take time and a lot of effort, you know, to teach that child or individual the proper way to handle certain situations, instead of using those derogatory words, shut up, or you stupid, go to your room, you know, and without explaining to the child, you know, the situation, you know.
But what I gotta explain the situation for? you ain't nothing but a little bitty 3-year-old, 4-year-old. You ain't got no rights. I'm the mama. I tell you what to do. What type of effect is that having on you?
Well, personally, I would say that's a selfish individual for, you know, to just do as I say and not what I do. You know, it's as again I would use that word. It's not conducive. You know, it's not explaining anything to the child. It's not letting the child know that he or she is a part of this family. You know, it would be more thoughtful for the parent to, you know, explain the situations. Not every situation, but before you use those words, you know, you're stupid, shut up, don't ask me no questions, just do what I tell you to do. You know, it would be a lot easier for the child, because the child mimics everything that we do or does, in, you know, in our past or whatever and whatnot. And I think it'd be more healthier to just explain to the child, look, I need for you to go over here and go to the store and etc., whatever it is, and you explain to the child the reason for, you know, or you know what, we finna have a party tonight, you know, for your birthday, so go clean the yard, make sure, you know, it's nothing in the yard, you know, you want to clean the yard. It's better ways of doing things than to just be, you know, all negative and with words.
Yes, it is. And back to the fact of explaining to the child, there was this, say now you have your child in the swimming pool and you tell your child, don't jump in this water. Don't jump in the water. You never tell your child why not to jump in the water. This one day that you in the kitchen and your child is out there at that swimming pool, that child jump in that water and almost drown. Now, if you had took the time to explain, baby, I don't want you to jump into this pool because if you jump in here, I'm scared you gonna drown. That would have been a better thing to do than just saying, because I said don't jump in here. So what you're saying about explaining is very important, because children do things behind adults' backs. You know, you talking about don't do this, don't do that, and you never say why.
And that goes, you're right, I could agree to that. Also, it goes along with the part where I was saying that, you know, when they see, they mimic. When they see you doing it and they wonder why is it that they can't do it, then they don't have those answers. So when your back is turned or when you're away, then, you know, they want to know what it feels like to be in that water as well. Or not so much that they're being bad children, but just curious.
Just curious. And if you had told the child the reason why, it give you a little explanation of,
Exactly.
I'm afraid that you might drown if you jump in here.
Because
Yeah.
of the safety, you know,
Yeah.
the safety of the child. When you have a pool around your house and you have little children or toddlers or whatever and whatnot and what have you, you're supposed to have all the safety precautions, but as well, you're supposed to explain to that child about that pool and, you know, the reasons why.
Explanations,
you know, and
yes. they
that way,
deserve it.
you know, like I said, again, children mimic everything that you do and say. So, you know, and they're at their most learning experience moment, you know, as a child. So they will understand.
What type of effect, back to the effects that your behavior has on your children, what type of effect do you think a ugly, screaming voices, name calling, what type of effect does that have on children? Ugly faces, just say, when I say an ugly face, you always sitting around here looking all mean and mad. And I'm 3 years old, you 3 years old. What type of effect do you think that's having on the child?
Well, I mean, it all depends on the child. a lot of ugly faces would scare a child. You know, a lot of ugly faces with that mean look would put fear into the child as to they have to do what you say because of that look, that evil look. You know, it not only makes them do it, but it puts fear in them towards the parent or who's ever, you know, communicating with them in that negative way.
Say you just came in the house and you in the kitchen and you ain't done nothing to nobody. You walk in there and all you see is a mean, ugly face, no smiling. How does that make you feel?
That I've done something wrong.
Exactly. So that mean face, that non-smiling face, makes that child feel like they've done something wrong, and when they haven't done anything. So really, basically, this is what I'm saying. We need to be careful with the way we look, with what we say, because as a 3-year-old, you take everything on as you done did it. I did something, what I do wrong. You know, this is what I'm saying.
That plays another role as when, like, okay, you're in a family setting and the father goes out to work, and you know, due to the circumstances, you know, at his job or her job, you really don't know what this individual is going to come back like, you know. So everybody's sitting around waiting for the father or the mother to enter the house, and once they enter the house, they want to know what mood that they're in. Okay, is he gonna be the grouchy today because something didn't go right at work, or is she gonna be the grouchy because, you know, something didn't go right at work? So, you know, it's like, I don't know. It's just when you wear that, when you come home from work and you're in that up tempo mood, you know, that's what that child is looking for, that up-tempo mood, that happiness, that joy. When you come home and you're not in that up-tempo mood, and that child, you know, you might want to explain or get you to explain their homework or something. They wouldn't know how to do that if you're not in that mood, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, that my whole thing is here. What I'm trying to get across is that the way you treat me, your ugly, unsmiling face, or your just unsmiling face, you know, you making me feel like I've done something when I haven't done anything. The fact that you screaming at me, the fact that you calling me all these names, you calling me toilet boy all my life, and so when I get to school and they call me John, I don't even know who John is, because you done called me toilet boy all my life. The words, the things that we say, the effect of the environment that we're staying in, the things that you do is causing great damage, doing more damage than you think you're doing. You're study teaching. We're study teaching at all times. That's my main thing that I'm trying to say here. Would you agree to that?
Yes, I'd agree to that. I would agree totally to that. A lot of things that we say, you know, a lot of times we don't realize, or they don't realize, people don't realize that, you know, they're causing a lot of harm, especially if you don't have some type of counseling for anger issues, addict issues, certain issues, you know, mentally ill issues. If you don't have some type of counseling, you know, it wouldn't be very conducive to the household, because now you don't know how to deal with the children because of your own issues.
And by you having issues yourself, they rub off on your children. So this is something that the child, as he grows up, another thing here that I'm trying to say is that the effect that my words have had on the children when they get older now, they're not in this situation where they were, don't jump in the water, because I said it. You know, you're no longer there. When you're not allowed to talk back or say anything back or have any type of input on anything, when you get to a job and you're expected to be a go-getter, Would you think you would be a go-getter in that situation? And you've been raised up, somebody telling you what to do all the time, telling you to shut up, telling you stupid. Do you think you would be a go-getter on your job?
Well, I understand exactly what you're saying.
What am I saying?
Some people are self-supervised, and if you're going through that, you know, in your childhood life, and then you go get that job, and your boss is the type of person to see if you could be self-supervised, and you're waiting on his every command, then no, you wouldn't be the person for that setting. And I understand exactly what you said, because you know, as being employable myself, you know, I like to be that person that's, you know, could be self-supervised, because, you know, you don't want to always wait for your boss or, you know, your lead man to tell you, you know, what you have to do if you already know what to do and how to do it.
Exactly. But if you're being brought up in an environment where you told you stupid, you don't know nothing, then you would be more apt to what?
To not being a leading person.
You would be more of a follower, and you would have to
Right.
be told what to do every time.
And that's sad, because, you know, that's the harm that you cause to that individual, whether it be, you know, at that young age or in the middle age. You know, that effect would show on that individual. It'll show regardless, you know, at what age it'll still show, because if that person, as I said before, isn't getting some type of counseling, you know, and it's done got so far, well, the parents needed counseling, they never got it. Now the child needs counseling, the child didn't get it, and it's going into adulthood, and then their kids will probably need some counseling too, because
It's just a vicious circle.
exactly.
It's a vicious circle. We really need to watch our words and our actions around our children, because these are our children. We want them to be able to function and be able to do better than us, you know, because we're not going to be here forever. And we don't want, would you say, want our children to.
That's our future, you know, and I mean, you know, as the future, you know, as the world turns, it's supposed to get greater, not worse. You know, so they would be that would be a major asset to, you know, sit down, explain to the children, without using negative words, take the time out, you know, whether you were taught that way or not. It would be very conducive to, you know, bring in a nice family setting with a lot of respect and understanding, and giving them some understanding, and listening to them, you know, instead of being the voice all the time. Listen to them as well, because, you know, children have a lot of things that needs to be said and answered as well.
That's very good, Mr. Johnson. And with that, we're going to go ahead and close our show. And hopefully today, as an adult, raised and have done things that wasn't conducive to what I wanted it to be conducive to. This is just to let you guys know and to make you guys aware that we really need to watch our words and our actions and what we're saying to our children, because this is our future, and it's very important.
Very important.
Very important. You don't want your child to be on the job setting, not able to function, gotta wait for somebody to tell them to do something. Because, baby, when you know better, you do better. Child, it takes for you to really work on yourself. If you came up out of this, you came up out of an environment where you was told you wasn't nothing, and you know that you are something. Now what you gotta do to prove to yourself that you are something?
Well, as I said before, I think counseling plays a major role. A lot of attention. You know, this child is expecting a lot of attention, and I think, you know, not to go to a different subject or to rattle off on this conversation as far as the topic is concerned, but it's still related to it. A lot of children is in special education due to the fact that they didn't get that attention and they got yelled at, and they needed more attention. They needed more love and tenderness in the family. They needed to be listened and heard, listened to and heard. And a lot of times, it does. It really affects the child, and when they're affected in that way, then they're less prone to learning in school. So I noticed that a lot in school when I was in school, that a lot of children got put in special education because of the lack of attention and the negative environment at home.
Wow. That's really something to think about. The fact that you think you're doing something and you're not doing nothing. All that hard work. But when you know better, you do better.
But you're doing something.